couldn't pass that road. Every mile toward it still felt like you. There's an exit off the highway about 20 miles from town, where we used to stop for coffee before the world slowed down. I spent years avoiding passing it, like somehow it could hurt, like the sign itself still carried every memory and word. Even after all this distance, I still change the route at night, just to keep from seeing headlights turn toward what we left behind. But tonight the road felt different, like something finally eased. And for the first time in forever, I didn't feel the need to leave. I thought healing would arrive like a lightning strike somehow. But I finally drove past our exit, and the world didn't fall apart. Every mile kept moving forward, even with your ghost inside my heart. The sign disappeared behind me, like a chapter closing slow. I finally drove past our exit, and I didn't need to go back anymore. There was a song playing softly, one we used to sing too loud, back when every road ahead of us still felt endless somehow. And for a second I could see us, young and certain in that truck, thinking love alone was strong enough to hold against the world. But memory don't sting forever. Sometimes it just settles down into something softer, quieter, like rain upon the ground. And I realized while driving past that old familiar sign, that missing who we used to be don't mean I lost my life. I finally drove past our exit without slowing down this time. Every part I thought would break me stayed somewhere behind. And I don't need to turn around now or replay what we went through. I finally drove past our exit, and finally drove past you. Maybe moving on ain't sudden. Maybe it's these little things, like taking roads you once avoided, or hearing old songs differently. I was waiting for some moment big enough to call it healed, but maybe healing looks more like learning not to leave the glass, like a road no longer haunted, like a memory finally passed. I finally drove past our exit, and I think I understand. Some loves are only meant to guide you where you stand. And I don't regret the miles or the years I held on to, 'cause every road that led away from you still somehow led me to truth. Still driving, but lighter now. Wasn't looking for the past, but it was waiting there anyway. I reached inside the glove box, looking for a map I used to keep, and buried underneath the papers were pieces of you staring back at me. Faded corners, worn out colors, little moments frozen still, like time forgot to take them, even after all these years. There was one outside the diner where your hair blew in the wind, one where we were laughing hard enough to think it'd never end, and another by the river with your head against my shoulder. Funny how a tiny picture can suddenly make your heart feel older. I thought memory faded slowly, but some things wait untouched. Polaroids left in the glove box, like ghosts beneath the dust. Every picture held a version of the two of us. Every smile looked like forever, every night looked warm enough. Polaroids left in the glove box, still remembering for us. There's a crack across one picture, running right between our eyes, like somehow even paper knew we wouldn't survive. And I stared a little longer than I probably should have done, trying to find the exact moment we started coming undone. I almost threw them out the window, somewhere past the county line, but something in me couldn't lose proof that you were once mine. So I placed them back in silence, where they'd waited all along. Like the past don't need revisiting to remind you where you're from. Polaroids left in the glove box, still carrying our names. Little snapshots of a fire that time could never frame. Every memory turned softer, every color washed enough. But those Polaroids inside that glove box still remember us. Maybe pictures don't hold people, maybe they just hold the light from a moment we once lived in, before it slipped from sight. I was trying hard to outrun everything we used to be, but memories don't chase you, they just wait quietly. Polaroids left in the glove box, soft as dust beneath my hands. Like a story I stopped fighting, like something I understand. Polaroids left in the glove box, and I finally see it now. We were never meant forever, just meant to happen somehow. And I don't need to throw them away or pretend they don't exist, 'cause every faded photograph still feels like a little kiss. Still there, just older now. Some summers don't really end, they just keep glowing somewhere inside you. The dashboard light was barely shining, painting gold across your skin. Windows down, warm August air, and nowhere we had to be then. That old truck kept rolling slowly past the fields and county lines, like the night itself was stretching, trying to hold us inside time. You had your boots up on the seat, laughing at the radio, singing every word half wrong to songs we thought we'd always know. And every small town light behind us looked like stars we left too soon, while the moon spilled through the windshield like it knew we'd be gone soon. I didn't know moments could disappear while they still felt alive. But summer still lives in that dashboard light, somewhere between the dark and dawn. Every mile still holds your shadow, even though the years moved on. Every song still sounds a little like those nights we drove too far. Summer still lives in that dashboard light, like it never left my heart. There's a crack above the speedometer, still there from that reckless turn, when we swore we'd leave this town behind before we had the chance to burn. And sometimes when I drive at midnight, I swear I see it all again. Your silhouette beside me, like the summer never ended then. But memory softens everything, turns the sharpest pain to glow. Now it feels less like heartbreak and more like something warm I know. Like a photograph still breathing somewhere underneath my skin. Not a place I'm trying to go back to, just a place I once had been. Summer still lives in that dashboard light, even after all this time. Every faded piece of us still flickers through my mind. Every road I take alone now still carries traces of those nights. Summer still lives in that dashboard light, quietly alive. Maybe nothing beautiful lasts, maybe that's what makes it stay. Like a season frozen perfectly before it slipped away. I was trying hard to keep it, like the feeling could survive. But some summers aren't meant forever, just meant to make you feel alive. Summer still lives in that dashboard light, soft as heat against my hands, like a memory still glowing across forgotten lands. Summer still lives in that dashboard light, but it don't pull me backward now. It just reminds me who I was and who I've become somehow. And I don't need to relive it to know it changed my life, 'cause every road still carries pieces of those summer nights. Still glowing somewhere down that road. Some memories freeze forever, and some never fully appear. There's an empty Polaroid beside me, still tucked inside the case. Just a faded little outline where your face was meant to stay. We were standing by the river on the last night before you left, and I remember holding the camera while you leaned against my chest. You were laughing in the darkness with the headlights shining through, and for a second everything felt like it still belonged to me and you. But before the picture finished, something shifted in your eyes, like like you already saw the ending before we said goodbye. I kept waiting for the image to finally come in clear, but the last picture's never finished, never fully turned to light. Every part that should have stayed there slowly vanished out of sight. All that's left is just a shadow of the moment we almost knew. The last picture was never finished, just like me and you. I tried holding it beneath the lamp, like warmth might bring it through, like maybe if I waited long enough, the missing parts would bloom. But the colors never deepened, and your outline never stayed, just a pale unfinished memory that slowly slipped away. And maybe that's what hurts the most, not the fact that you were gone, but that the final version of us never had the chance to form. No perfect closing moment, no final frame to keep, just an image caught between us, too unfinished to complete. The last picture was never finished, but I carried it for years, like someday it might reveal itself and make the ending clear. Every piece I couldn't hold on to, every word we never said, stayed suspended in that photograph, still undeveloped in my head. Maybe some stories stop halfway, maybe some hearts never align, maybe love ain't always meant to leave a perfect final line. I was searching for completion inside something incomplete, but some memories stay unfinished, so we finally learned to leave. The last picture was never finished, soft as outlines in the dark, like a love that almost stayed enough to leave a permanent mark. The last picture was never finished, and I finally understand. Not every beautiful moment is meant to fully land, and I don't need to force the colors or hold on to what slipped through, 'cause even unfinished memories can still be true. Half a picture, still enough to remember. Funny how blurry pictures can still feel so clear. I spread those old Polaroids across the passenger seat tonight. every faded little moment, still catching pieces of the light. There's one outside the bowling alley where you pulled me close to dance, and another by the roadside diner where we thought we had a chance. The film was scratched and grainy, but somehow we looked alive, like the world outside that picture could never touch what was inside. You smiled like nothing hurt you, I leaned into your chest, and looking at those frozen moments, you'd swear we were our best. But pictures only catch the surface, not the cracks beneath the glow. We looked happier in those grainy frames than we ever really were. Every laugh looked so convincing, every dream looked so assured, like love could last forever, like nothing ever changed. We looked happier in those grainy frames than we did in real life. I remember after one of those pictures, we barely spoke the whole ride home. You stared out through the windshield while I felt completely alone. But none of that survived the snapshot, none of that stayed in the frame. Just two hearts pretending beautifully that we still felt the same. And maybe that's why I kept them, even after all this time, because somewhere in those moments we really did shine. Even if it only lasted long enough for one flash of light, there was something real between us before it slipped out of sight. We looked happier in those grainy frames, but now I finally understand. Pictures don't preserve the truth, just the moment when you stand. Still enough to fool the future, still enough to make you stay. We looked happier in those grainy frames, and maybe that was okay. Maybe every love looks perfect when you stop it at the right time. Maybe memory softens edges like old film losing lines. I was trying to find answers inside every photograph, but all they ever really gave me was proof we once had that. We looked happier in those grainy frames, soft as shadows in my mind, like a version of forever we could never fully find. We looked happier in those grainy frames, and I don't need to know why. Some things only live beautifully for a little while, and I don't need to hate the ending or erase what still remains. 'Cause even if it wasn't perfect, we were happy in those frames. Still smiling inside that fading light. thing about pictures. They stay the same, even when people don't. I found that photo by the dashboard, taken somewhere in July. Your hair was glowing in the sunset, and your hand was holding mine. We looked like something built to last, like nothing could go wrong, like forever was a road ahead we were already driving on. But I remember what the picture doesn't, the silence later that night, the way your eyes stopped meeting mine underneath the porch light. You smiled for every camera, like you knew exactly how to make a moment look eternal, even while slipping out somehow. I kept staring at that Polaroid, trying to find the missing part. Your smile faded before the picture did, before the colors turned to gray, before the edges curled from time, or the summer slipped away. Every snapshot kept its beauty, even after we fell apart. Your smile faded before the picture did, but I still kept every part. There's a stain across the corner from the night it rained so hard. I was sitting in that old truck, trying not to fall apart, and I traced your face for hours, like it might bring back the truth, like maybe if I stared long enough I could still get back to you. But photographs don't tell the ending, they just freeze what used to shine. They don't show the slow unraveling, or the space you left behind. And sometimes I hate how perfect we still look inside that frame, like love never learned how fragile two hearts can really change. Your smile faded before the picture did, long before I understood that some people leave in pieces, even while they're still with you. Every memory stayed suspended, like a light I couldn't lose. Your smile faded before the picture did, and that's what hurts the most. Maybe pictures only capture who we wanted to become, not the parts already breaking quietly underneath the sun. I was holding on to paper, thinking it could hold the truth, but no photograph can fully save what time takes from you. Your smile faded before the picture did, soft as shadows in my mind, like a moment I kept chasing long after goodbye. Your smile faded before the picture did, but I finally see it now. We were already disappearing, even then somehow. And I don't need to hate the memory or erase what we went through, 'cause even if your smile was fading, least for a while it was true. Still